I'm Parish. I help small business entrepreneurs save their life and their business from failure. And these are my top 3 business tips for the week. My 3 tips for today, I want to talk exactly about the philosophy of running a business, or the way you want to organize your mental state. If I could say it that way, there's 3 categories that we're going to discuss. When you're trying to run a business, the first thing you must have is a purpose. Now, the purpose can be likened to or equal to your mission statement. So the first thing you must have is a purpose. Now, the purpose discusses what we want to do. What is the overall vision or the overall intent for you creating such a business? No matter what business it is, it has to have a purpose to exist. Because there's too many times we create a business that's a Mr. Me Too business or a duplicated business. You have to have a essential purpose that you exist for. Because if you do not have a purpose that you exist for, you're just another number added into the equation of businesses that is not actually needed. The next thing you want to focus on is for who do you do it for? After you have the purpose of the business and why, or the intent that you created it for, who is it for? The demographic of the customer, what age and education level and things like that. Who is the customer? And you have to ask yourself, why do they need the product or the service? Final tip I'm going to say about purpose is, why do you want to do it? That is essential. Why or what motivates you, what drives you to want to fulfill this need inside of this industry or inside of this segment, and why do you want to do it? So what is your purpose? Why do you exist? Who do you exist for? And what is your intentions for existing? Now, the next step we want to talk about is pattern. You have to have a pattern. So it's going to go from purpose to pattern. The pattern is the overturning and overturning a repetitious process of creating or designing or developing or servicing or something that can be generated over and over systematically. It has to be a pattern. Everything has a pattern to it. Life has a pattern. Debt has a pattern. Everything has a pattern. So you have to put a pattern to it. If you want to find the way to be successful, you have to create a pattern or create a system. Next step is, how do you plan on doing it? How do you plan on doing it? What is the philosophy of, if you're going to have a product or a service that you're going to get out, how are you going to consistently give the same results so that way you can have a brand promise that you can offer to the people? You have to have a promise that you can offer to the people, and you have to be able to consistently kick that promise out the door, no matter who you hire, no matter what day of the week it is, no matter what time of the day that you are open for operations. You have to be able to be giving the same pattern. How often do you plan on doing it? That's whatever you're doing, how often do you plan on doing it? By what level, what day, what time inside of your creation of your pattern? That's what I'm speaking about. So if you deciding we're gonna prep up 100 turkeys, we're going to sell them. Well, what time do you do it? How often do you do it? You have to start to pick the things inside the system or inside the pattern so you can stay on schedule, because everything has to flow like clockwork. Every department interlocks. Every operation and system interlocks. So one department may have to get the inventory. The next department may have to defrost the inventory. The next department have to season that said turkey. The next department have to prep the turkey for cooking. So everything is a pattern. By when does it happen? How does it happen? Everything has to be consistent. And you always have to have how much you plan on doing. The numbers are this is always a numbers game. How much do you plan on selling? How much do you plan on losing? How much do you plan on giving away? How much, how often? It has to be a pattern. And that's for everything. I'm using just one example with a restaurant with turkeys and inventory, but even in the marketing department, even in the financial department, everything has to have a who, what, when, where, how that's consistently repeating itself for you to be able to predict what you're going to make, what you're going to lose, who you're going to pay, who you're going to hire, who you're going to fire, who do you need, who you don't need, when do you need them, how part-time workers, full-time workers, seasonal workers. It has to have a pattern and a rhyme and reason to it to create consistency. The next step we're going to talk about is the plan. The plan. You first have to have objectives. What are the objectives? Those are the things that are in your way that you must overcome so that way you can reach the end result of the plan. So objectives, that's going to be the first step in your plan. What are your objectives? The next thing you're going to have in your plan is when do they start? When do they stop? You have to have a date. When do we go into preparations for them? Like, for instance, if you're doing marketing or advertisement, you can't market for tomorrow and start on working on the content for today. You have to be in advance. So when does it start? When does it stop? So your marketing, your advertisement, whatever is in your business plan, sales, when does it start? When does it stop? Who's accountable for it? You have to have a plan. So who is responsible for doing it? Last but not least, who is responsible for doing it? And what is the expectations when it's done? That's the plan. Who's responsible for picking up the product? Who's responsible for servicing the product? Who's responsible for selling of the product? Who's responsible for marketing of the product? When you put it all together, what should said outcome be per department, per overall operation? What is the results? So you got to have objectives, you got to have the people in place to do it, and you have to have the end results in mind before we go out there to try to pursue it. Purpose, pattern, and plan. Those are the 3 tips of the day. I hope that somebody has found the benefit for the things that was said. Again, my business ate my life, so I'm hoping that you choose life so it doesn't happen to you. My name is Parish. Contact me right here on this channel, or you can hit me up if you need personal business consulting or anything like that. You can check me out on my website, which is listed at the bottom here. Contact us, Quintessence Business Development. Again, I hope you choose life so your business doesn't eat yours. My name is Parish. Take care.